Recognize the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you for being here today. It's been referenced that there are federal laws against intercepting aircraft or intercepting communication signals, and it's been cited today regarding the absence of a specific federal law authorizing local law enforcement to use existing technologies to mitigate against an unmanned aerial system threat or a drone threat. Let me say that, Mr. Chairman, I believe that the 10th Amendment already extends such rights to the sovereign states. And let me say that the current law, the current federal law that authorizes specific federal law enforcement agencies to use existing and emerging technologies to mitigate against unmanned aerial systems. Yes, that authorizes those specific federal agencies to deploy that technology, but it in no way does a current law prohibit the rights of the sovereign state to authorize their own state and local law enforcement to use existing technologies and emerging technologies in a law enforcement capacity. Mr. Wiegman, is it against the law for one American to strike another American? Yes, it is. It's not a trick question. Is that against the law?
Obviously it depends on the context. There could be
of course,
self-defense,
there's a
whatever,
general
but
law against
generally,
that.
yeah.
But is it allowed for a law enforcement officer who has probable cause to detain you or arrest you? Is it allowed for him to strike you in order to effect that arrest? Yes, of course he can. Is there a law against me crashing my car into yours purposefully? Yes, there is. But Mr. Jones, are you familiar with the pit maneuver? Of course, law enforcement has been using this for decades. We use our vehicle to crash into a suspect vehicle in a particular manner reflective of our training in order to effect the arrest. We're using the current training standards and the technology of our vehicle that we have deployed to effect that arrest. That's not a vehicle crash. It's a law enforcement action. It's broadly known, everyone knows it's against the law for one American to shoot another one. But a law enforcement officer, in order to effect arrest, if he needs to escalate to lethal force, we know a law enforcement officer has that authorization through federal and state laws. So, yes, there's plenty of laws. You guys love to cite these laws that exist that we cannot intercept an aircraft. We understand that. But if intercepting the aircraft is a law enforcement action, which using existing technology to mitigate against an unmanned aerial threat, Mr. Chairman, these technologies exist, and absolutely our local and state law enforcement entities should have access to the same technologies that we seem to be very protectively reserving for only select federal agencies. So, Mr. Jones, you had stated earlier, good sir, and thank you for wearing the badge, my brother. You had stated earlier that yes, you're deploying these systems, but please clarify for America that there are great restrictions on actually deploying the technology to land a drone. You're using the technology primarily to track criminal drones, but you're not using that technology primarily to land drones, which is what the technology does. Am I correct in that assessment or not, Mr. Jones?
Well, both are true. We are using technology to track the drones. We are also using technology and electronic means to intercept and land the drone at a place of our discretion.
And give us the numbers by percentage. If you track 100 drones, how many are you landing?
Well, like I stated earlier, for FY24 Southwest border, we actually landed 60 of them. mitigated 60 of those aircraft.
60 of the 45,000 that you encountered? Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. You're using the technology to track, but you're not using the technology to fully mitigate. So this is what we've been talking about for a year, Mr. Chairman. This technology, by 10th Amendment right, belongs to the sovereign states, and they should be allowed to fully deploy it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.